Hello everyone, it's Mono, and today I'm designing a skin for Sonic Rumble. Well, okay, I'm entering a contest to design a skin for Sonic Rumble, but that doesn't sound as cool. I thought it'd be fun to do a video covering my process, since I've never entered an official Sonic art contest before. Now, I actually had no idea this contest was going on until 2 days before the deadline, and if I didn't have a design ready by the 25th, I would be working my day job and miss the deadline. So, this entry was admittedly rushed, but it's okay. I still managed anyway, and I'm super proud of how it came out. So today, I'm gonna show you my process of how I came up with this skin and all of the thoughts that went into it. Alright, so first, I had to pick a character. I wanted to design a skin for Rouge or Blaze, but unfortunately neither of them were on the table for this contest. You see, you were only able to pick between Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, or Shadow. Sonic Rumble, please let me know if you ever have a contest that involves Blaze or Rouge. I will put down my life. Now, I wasn't really interested in picking Sonic or Knuckles, and I think they already have a lot of cool outfits, so I scratched those off pretty quickly. That left me with Tails, Amy, or Shadow. Now, if you know me, you might be thinking, why not just lock in Shadow? That's your favorite character, Mono. Well, I wanted to try to get out of my comfort zone, so I started looking at the existing skins in Sonic Rumble, and I noticed, Tails has some pretty plain skins, no shade. So I thought, okay, I could make a skin for Tails. But I was just about to settle down and get started thinking of a concept when a thought suddenly hammered itself into my mind, and I realized, yeah, the idea is gonna fit Amy better. What if I designed a Hero Chao outfit for Amy? That pretty much did it. I couldn't see myself designing something else, so I locked it in and started looking for a good reference. However, unfortunately, I won't be able to play Sonic Rumble until the global release, which is fine, but it created an unexpected roadblock for this contest. Sonic Rumble team, if you're watching, this is a little bit of genuine, hopefully constructive feedback. If you do any more skin contests before the global release, is there any way y'all could give us a high quality reference for each character? A front reference at the least would just be really nice. The reason I say this is because I know Sonic Rumble has different proportions than most Sonic games, so it's hard to fit as much fine detail into the models. I know not everyone puts this much thought into a contest entry, but I think it could really help anyone looking to understand what would and wouldn't work for an in-game model. Anyway, since I didn't have access to the game, this very blurry Google image of Amy in a mostly neutral A pose will have to do for a reference. Now, I have a pretty good base to work off of. Full disclosure, this base sketch is very referenced, it's heavily referenced. Usually I'd say that you shouldn't do that for original art, but this is for the sake of creating a skin that actually fits the model. It was a bit tricky to understand Amy's body type underneath the dress because she's just so tiny in Rumble, but hopefully I managed it alright. I also kept a sketch over top of her original outfit, just so I wouldn't forget things like her dress length. I also grabbed some Hero Chao references, just so I'd have a good idea of what details I could adapt into an outfit. Now, it's time to actually start designing Amy's Hero Chao outfit. There were a few different approaches I could take here. My original idea was a hoodie and poncho type deal, but I didn't want the skin to be overly simple. I knew I could do better. So I added a dress. I really wanted to strike a balance between making a design that stands out among other entries, but keeping it realistic enough that hopefully in a situation where this design hypothetically gets chosen, the devs wouldn't have too difficult of a time implementing it. Although I am still primarily a 2D artist at the end of the day, so I guess for you 3D artists watching, please let me know down below if you think this would be a nightmare to recreate or not. Since the submission form only allows you to add one image, I'm going to quickly create a back reference as well, just to make the wing detail on the back and how the hood wraps around clear. Now that my sketches are complete, it's time to go in with the line work. I decided to use my typical textured line art brush at a 7 pixel size, and I'll be going over any sections I'd like to thicken up later with a 10 size. I'll also skip the face and a few smaller details for now so I can go in with a 5 pixel smaller brush. I usually refrain from lining details inside the body unless I'm doing something like my adventure style study, for example, but there are a few details I'd like to make distinct in this scenario, like the Chao eyes, Chao mouth, and these scalloped sections on the dress, since I perceive them as being on different layers of the garment. As I was lining, I kinda realized something. Why did I bother sketching out an entire back reference? Isn't this only for the head and shoulders? Yeah, okay. I'm just going to line the parts that'll need it, and I'll add them over to the side. Maybe that's not the professional way to go about this, but again, I only have the space to upload one image at a maximum of 10 megabytes, and I'm already drawing this on a 4K canvas, so partial reference it is. Alright, my line art is complete. I usually color in my line art to match each piece, but for this design I wanted to keep things simple and just went over everything but the eyes with dark purple. At the end of the day, this is meant to be practical, not an elaborate art piece with tons of shading and depth. Time to move on to the coloring. Honestly, this part was pretty easy. I just took colors from the Hero Chao and slightly tweaked them to fit. I figure on the off chance this design wins, the devs probably have a more official reference for the colors anyway. I kinda dig this skin, honestly. Maybe I will draw it again sometime, even if it's not picked. With a few more small details like the highlights for Amy's eyes, I think it's safe to say that I've finished this design. Hopefully I didn't enter too late since there's only 2 days left until the deadline. There are some things I could have done to make my entry stand out more, but the time limit just wasn't on my side, unfortunately. I'll have to keep a better eye out for contests like this in the future. After submitting, I was looking at a lot of the other entries, and there's some really solid competition out there. I've seen a lot of amazing skins for every character, and I'm definitely okay with them winning over mine. Personally, I just saw this as a fun opportunity to practice. I might lose the community vote since I focused more on practicality and making the skin look like it belonged in the game, over expressiveness or doing a bunch of aesthetic shading or filters. That's not to say that those things are bad, I just think I approached the challenge differently. Then again, I kinda doubt a lot of people read the 18+ entry requirement, so we'll see. Maybe it is possible. Regardless, I had a blast with this. Again, it was an amazing opportunity to practice, especially as an artist who'd love to work more with people who are involved with things like games and other fan projects. With that said, it's about time I wrap it up. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much to my channel members, Blazing Locust, Skytalk Mars, and Sunswift. Special shout out to Sunswift, by the way. Congrats on that 6-month channel member milestone. Thank you for supporting me for this long. I never expected that. I know I haven't uploaded much lately, I've just been in a bit of a funk with content and some real life stuff, but I promise I'll try to have more stuff out for y'all soon. And don't worry, I'm still working on ranking and drawing your Sonic OCs Part 3. I'm hoping to have that out sometime next week, but we will see. Alright, I'm gonna head out now. Best of luck to everyone involved in the contest. Bye!